The Gestapo's most wanted wasn't a soldier. She was a woman with a limp. Her name was Virginia Hall, and she made the Nazis fear a wooden leg. She didn't carry a gun. She carried secrets. She didn't storm the beaches. She sabotaged them from behind enemy lines. And when the Nazis hunted her across France, she escaped on foot over the Pyrenees Mountains with a prosthetic leg. This is not fiction. This is the true story of the most dangerous Allied spy you've never heard of. Virginia Hall was born on April 6, 1906, in Baltimore, Maryland, into a wealthy family. Her mother expected her to do what privileged young women did: marry well, host parties, raise children. But Virginia wanted none of that. She wanted adventure. She studied at prestigious schools, Radcliffe, Barnard College, then traveled to Europe to study in Paris, Vienna, and Germany. She became fluent in French, German, Italian, Spanish, and even some Russian. She loved the literary cafes of Paris, the art, the freedom, the sense of possibility that came with being far from home. Virginia had a plan. She would join the U.S. Foreign Service and become a diplomat. She took the Foreign Service exam twice, at ages 23 and 24, and failed both times. But she wasn't deterred. She figured she'd get experience first, then try again. In 1931, she landed a job as a consular clerk at the U.S. Embassy in Warsaw, Poland. It was administrative work, typing, filing, nothing that challenged her intelligence. But it was a foot in the door. 2 years later, she transferred to Izmir, Turkey. And that's where everything changed. In 1933, while hunting birds in the Turkish countryside, Virginia tripped climbing over a fence. Her shotgun discharged. The bullet struck her left foot. At first, it seemed manageable, but gangrene set in fast. The infection spread. Doctors told her the truth. If they didn't amputate, she would die. She was 27 years old. They amputated her left leg below the knee. She was fitted with a 7-pound wooden prosthetic that she would wear for the rest of her life. She named it Cuthbert. Most people would have given up. Virginia applied for more postings. She worked in Venice. She worked in Estonia. She kept pushing for that diplomat position she'd always wanted. But in 1937, the U.S. State Department rejected her application to become a Foreign Service officer. The reason? An obscure regulation that banned people with substantial disabilities from serving as diplomats. She even appealed to President Franklin B. Roosevelt himself. The appeal was ignored. So in March 1939, Virginia Hall resigned from the State Department, still just a clerk, still underestimated, still dismissed. But she didn't go home. She stayed in Europe, because by then, the world was on fire. When World War II broke out in September 1939, Virginia was living in France. She immediately volunteered as an ambulance driver for the French army. She drove wounded soldiers through bombed-out roads. She saw what the Nazis were capable of. She saw France fall. In 1940, when France capitulated to Germany, Virginia fled to England. She wasn't running away. She was looking for a way back in. On her journey through Spain, she met a British agent named George Bellows at a railway station in Irun. In a brief conversation, Bellows saw something in her: intelligence, courage, a burning desire to fight the Nazis. He gave her a phone number and told her to call when she got to London. Virginia thought it would be another ambulance job. It wasn't. The number connected her to Nicholas Bodington, a senior officer in Britain's Special Operations Executive, the SOE. This was Churchill's secret army, created to set Europe ablaze through sabotage, espionage, and guerrilla warfare. The SOE was desperate. They'd been trying for 6 months to infiltrate agents into France and had failed every time. They needed someone who could blend in, speak the language, think on their feet. But they didn't want women, especially not foreign women, and definitely not someone with one leg. Virginia convinced them otherwise. In April 1941, she joined the SOE. Her training was brief: weapons, sabotage, radio operations, tradecraft. Her prosthetic leg limited some of her physical training, but it didn't matter. She wasn't going to parachute in or engage in hand-to-hand combat. She was going to build networks. In August 1941, Virginia Hall became the first female SOE agent to take up residence in France. She was only the second woman ever sent into the field, and the first to have an ongoing active role. Her cover? A reporter for the New York Post. Her real job? Organize the resistance, coordinate supply drops, and help downed Allied pilots escape back to Britain. Her headquarters? Lyon, the heart of the French resistance. Virginia's cover as a journalist was perfect. She could travel, ask questions, meet people, all without raising suspicion. She embedded intelligence in fake news stories that were sent to London instead of New York. She moved through Vichy France, the unoccupied southern zone controlled by the collaborationist French government, like a ghost. She recruited resistance fighters. She arranged safe houses. She coordinated parachute drops of weapons and supplies. She hired document forgers. She trained couriers. And she saved lives. When Allied airmen were shot down over France, Virginia made sure they got back to England. She created escape routes, arranged transportation, provided false papers. She called her network Heckler. It became the most effective spy operation in France. But Virginia's greatest feat came in July 1942. 12 SOE agents had been captured and imprisoned by Vichy authorities in a heavily guarded facility. Virginia orchestrated their escape. She acquired safe houses, transportation, helpers, even 2 French police uniforms. On July 15, 1942, the prisoners walked out. After hiding for weeks, they reunited with Virginia in Lyon. She got them out of France, through Spain, and back to England. Several of those escapees would return to France to lead major resistance operations. The Nazis were furious. They flooded the region with 500 additional Gestapo and SS intelligence agents, all hunting for the person responsible. They called her Artemis. They called her the most dangerous of all Allied spies. They plastered wanted posters across France. The woman who limps is one of the most dangerous Allied agents. We must find and destroy her. Virginia's police contacts could no longer protect her. She had to run. In November 1942, Virginia fled Lyon by train. She jumped off before reaching her destination, a risky move with a prosthetic leg. Then she began one of the most brutal journeys of the war. She hiked over 50 miles through the Pyrenees Mountains in winter. The weather was freezing. The terrain was treacherous. Her guides didn't want to take a woman, especially not an amputee. But Virginia wouldn't be left behind. Cuthbert, her 7-pound wooden leg, caused agonizing pain with every step. The straps dug into her stump. Blisters formed, then bled, but she kept moving. At one point, she radioed London. "Cuthbert is giving me trouble, but I can cope." SOE headquarters, not knowing who Cuthbert was, replied, "If Cuthbert is troublesome, eliminate him." That message became legendary. Virginia made it to Spain and was immediately arrested for crossing the border illegally. She spent weeks in a Spanish prison until the U.S. Embassy secured her release. She returned to London in July 1943. The British awarded her the Member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE, in a quiet ceremony. But SOE leadership refused to send her back to France. She was too compromised, they said, too recognizable, too at risk. Virginia didn't accept that. So she joined the Americans. In 1944, Virginia Hall joined the U.S. Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, precursor to the CIA. She took a wireless operator course and was hired at the rank of second lieutenant. On March 21, 1944, she returned to France by motor gunboat, landing in Brittany. She was one of the first OSS agents to arrive. This time, she had a new identity and a new disguise. She dyed her hair gray. She filed her teeth down to look like a French peasant. She hunched her posture and shuffled when she walked. Her limp now worked in her favor, making her seem older and less threatening. She carried 500,000 francs in cash, about 2,500 pounds in 1944 money. She was supposed to work as the wireless operator for an older male officer, but she quickly realized he was a security risk, too talkative, too reckless. So she separated from him and worked alone. Virginia moved constantly, using different aliases: Marcel Montagne, Diane, Camille, Nicolas. She hired a French woman, Madame Rabout, to speak for her, since her American accent would give her away. Her mission: prepare France for D-Day. She organized sabotage operations. She trained resistance fighters, called the Maquis. She supplied them with weapons, money, and strategy. And her network delivered. Throughout 1944, Virginia's fighters cut 16 railway lines. They derailed 8 trains. They blew up 4 railway bridges. They severed telephone wires across entire regions. They killed 80 German soldiers while suffering only 12 casualties.
They reclaimed entire villages before Allied troops even arrived. Virginia disguised herself as a milkmaid, herding goats across the countryside while spying on German troop movements. She mapped positions, documented logistics, and transmitted everything back to Allied command. Her intelligence was critical to the success of the Normandy invasion. By the time American forces arrived in September 1944, the areas Virginia operated in had already been cleared of German soldiers. One assessment stated that her network was a most powerful factor in the harassing of enemy troops.
After the war, Virginia Hall was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, the only civilian woman to receive it during World War II. General William Wild Bill Donovan, head of the OSS, wanted to present it to her in a public ceremony. President Truman wanted to honor her personally. Virginia refused. She insisted on a private ceremony with only her mother present. She said she was still operational and most anxious to get busy. No interviews, no publicity, no fanfare. She also received the British MBE and the French Croix de Guerre, 3 nations honoring the same woman. In 1947, when the CIA was established, Virginia joined the Special Activities Division. She worked there until her mandatory retirement in 1966 at age 60. She was one of the few senior women in the CIA's clandestine service. But even at the CIA, she faced obstacles. Internal personnel records show she was sidelined by male colleagues who found her combat record an embarrassment. One fellow agent, E. Howard Hunt, said, "No one knew what to do with her. She was a sort of embarrassment to the non-combat types." Bureaucrats were intimidated by someone who'd actually fought a war. Still, Virginia served faithfully. She performed intelligence work without recognition, without glory, without complaint. In 1966, she retired to a farm in Barnesville, Maryland, with her husband Paul Guillot, a former OSS lieutenant she'd met during the war. She gave no interviews. She wrote no memoir. She barely spoke about her wartime service, even to family. When asked why, she said, "Too many of my friends were killed because they talked too much." Virginia Hall died on July 8, 1982, at the age of 76. For decades, her story remained classified. Virginia Hall wasn't just a spy. She was a woman who refused to let rejection define her. She was told she couldn't serve her country because she had one leg. She proved them wrong. She was told women couldn't do espionage work. She became the most dangerous Allied spy in France. She was told she was too compromised to return. She disguised herself and went back anyway. Virginia Hall's contributions to the Allied victory cannot be overstated. Her intelligence operations disrupted Nazi logistics, her sabotage delayed German reinforcements, and her escape networks saved dozens of lives. She operated for over 15 months in enemy territory, longer than any other SOE agent. She trained resistance fighters who liberated entire regions. She gathered intelligence that directly supported the D-Day invasion. And she did it all with grit, courage, and a wooden leg named Cuthbert. In 2018, when Gina Haspel became the first female director of the CIA, she said she stood on the shoulders of heroines who never sought public acclaim. She was talking about women like Virginia Hall. Because Virginia proved something that should never have needed proving, that courage isn't about physical strength. It's about refusing to quit. It's about doing what's right, even when the world tells you you can't. And it's about believing that one person, armed with nothing but intelligence, determination, and a prosthetic leg, can change the course of history. And if you think Virginia Hall deserves more recognition, drop a comment below. Because history's best stories aren't in textbooks. They're in the shadows. And sometimes they're carried by women with wooden legs who refuse to quit.